We're trying something different on today's Dallas Cowboys Report. These are some of the dumbest Cowboys rumors, ideas, trade suggestions you will ever see. All from real Cowboys articles or media members, and to be blunt, if you wrote something embodying, you might want to leave right now because I'm going to end some careers on this front. The dumb ideas focus on 4 things, not necessarily in this order, by the way. DK Metcalf, a Michael Gallup trade, Trevon Diggs, also a trade, and the Cowboys salary cap. So we're going to break that down momentarily. I do want to give some shout-outs to those of you in the past who have super thanks on the Cowboys Report. It's a new feature. You can donate outside of live videos. Click the thanks icon. You can donate whatever you want. You can edit your message. If you super thanks because you can't watch on a live stream, for example, we'll still give you a shout-out on a future video. The first stupid-ass idea, trading Michael Gallup if the Cowboys tank in 2022. 2 different fan-sided ideas on this show of, well, if the Cowboys are bad, they should do this. And 2 of them were just so stupid. The argument was, well, Gallup's too expensive to be a number 2 wide receiver, which makes me wonder if it was actually written by Stephen Jones. The Cowboys, of course, are convinced he's going to return to form. Here was the argument from Fansided, the name of the author redacted for, me being nice, I guess. With CeeDee Lamb on the team already, as well as rookie Jalen Tolbert, who could be a steal, the Cowboys might consider moving on from Gallup in 2023 should they be awful this season. Like other moves mentioned, this isn't the best way to win a title. But if Dallas sends you past Super Bowl in 2023, Gallup's price tag starts to look intimidating when you realize he's the number 2 guy behind Lamb. Let's break down that part. Gallup's on a 5-year, $57.5 million deal. $27 million of that is guaranteed. He's averaging not that much per year. $11.5 million per year is not a lot of money for a wide receiver, too. His cap hit by year, by the way, super cheap this year, $4.5 million. It jumps to $14 million. That is the Cowboys' potential out situation, where if Gallup is bad this year, they're not going to play with that number, and they'll potentially cut him after that season. In 2024, it's $11.5 million, $13.5 million, etc. This is not a bad contract for a number 2 wide receiver. Frankly, compared to what other number 2s are getting, provided he steps back or jumps back to form, actually pretty fair. Now, injury concerns are valid for Gallup, but if you get 2019 Gallup, that's a steal from a paid contract perspective. And trading him away saves you like no money. So why are you dumping Gallup in a trade when you are better off keeping him on your roster? Tanking and trading away a young key part of your offense doesn't actually make any sense. It's pretty stupid, but it's not the stupidest one we're going to get into on today's show. Keep watching. First, a question for you. Do you like the Michael Gallup deal? Y for yes or N for no? Do you like that contract that they gave him? This is the pinned comment on today's video, so if the ad break comes on YouTube, take advantage of it. Y for yes or N for no? Next up, another fan-sided idea, a different person though. Cowboys get DK Metcalf. Okay, cool. For 2 first-round picks. And the reason why this is on here is because it doesn't make any sense. 2 first-round picks is weird. The other trades, by the way, were not for 2 first-round picks. They did 3 different trades. The Bears and the Packers also got DK Metcalf. It was a first and a third and a first and a second. So why did the Cowboys give up 2 firsts? The article? Ha-ha, Jerry Jones. Find a new slant. My God, move on. The ha-ha, Jerry likes talent. Guys, if you think that Jerry Jones is making these calls, you're not paying attention. This is Stephen Jones' show. You think Stephen Jones is going to throw big money and picks at DK Metcalf? Come on, you ain't been paying attention already. I love DK Metcalf. He's an awesome football player. I think Seattle is just going to pay him in the end. But the idea of throwing 2 first-round picks, and oh, by the way, making DK one of the highest paid receivers in the NFL, they're not going to do that. At minimum, you're looking at $23 million on a shorter-term deal, $25 on 4. If you want to go the 5-year route that the Cowboys like to do, you're probably approaching $27 million per year. Even who I am an ultra-aggressive person, even I'm not fucking paying DK Metcalf moving 2 firsts for him. That's ridiculous. Doesn't make any sense. And to make the cost more expensive for the Cowboys because, haha, Jerry Jones, come on. You're better than that, Fansided. Do better. Now, this is your opportunity to really get me going because what's going to happen is I'm going to look at the comment section one day, 2 days from now, whatever, and I'm going to forget that I asked this question, and it gets me every single time. So have some fun and trigger me in the comment section with your bad Cowboys-focused trade ideas. Now, this video first aired exclusively on Rumble, part of the Cowboys Report After Hours live segment. You can follow us for free at rumble.com/CowboysTV. We've got free and uncensored content. So if you're watching on YouTube and you hear me say, it's going to be bleeped out. On Rumble, you heard the uncensored version. It's pretty cool, right? We don't get in trouble with the censors and whatnot on Rumble compared to YouTube. So if you want the uncensored version, head over to rumble.com/CowboysTV and give us the follow. Time for the big one. This is the one that inspired this whole video. How about trading away Trevon Diggs? Diggs is eligible for an extension next year. And even though he's clearly a key piece of the defense, well, maybe you don't want to pay him. Was the argument suggested this was the same like if the Cowboys tank, they should trade away Trevon Diggs? Because that makes sense. Like, if I were a team rebuilding for a year from now or 2 years from now, I would also trade away my young number 1 corner. Sarcasm, obviously. Here's what Fansided wrote. Rather than get further in cap purgatory with a roster that failed them, Dallas could see if Diggs can be sent to another team for a round 1 pick. If so, they get more talent and don't pay $20 million or more per year. Might not be a great move for a team trying to win it all, but falling apart in 22 could change all that. This is so stupid. Like, I saw this article, I saw the content, and I'm like, I got to get rid of this. Imagine trading away a bunch of young talent and going, well, we're rebuilding. Let's give away one of our top 2 young pieces on defense. Sometimes I wonder if people think things through critically, because that did not happen there. Now, yes, Trevon Diggs is going to be expensive. I would not be surprised if he balls out again this year. He could very well get 21.5, 22, or $20 million per year. But if you don't want to pay Diggs that, okay, that's weird. The idea of, oh, you get more talent, that first-round pick could be anything. It could even be a Trevon Diggs again. Diggs was awesome last year. I know the lamestream media might tell you, oh, about 1,000 yards. Not really. Like, go really study and watch the games. And yes, he's an aggressive player, and he gets burnt some. If this was, I do not remember this level of anti-Trevon Diggs conversation when it was around Xavier Howard, whose numbers, by the way, were not that different. When you allow 52.4% completion, you pick off 11 passes, you're a great football player. Now, is that number going to dip this year INT-wise? Yes, I believe it will. I bet the yards go down too. Now, do you want to pay Trevon Diggs? We're based on democracy here, so you can vote P for pay or P for pay. Now, in a moment, the salary cap that has been spread by some big J's and spread by Stephen Jones and his cronies, I am going to destroy that once and for all. They might tell you, oh, we're tight on salary cap space. No, they're not. It's a lie, and we'll break that down. But first, follow us for more Cowboys videos on YouTube and on Rumble. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that big red button. If you're watching on Rumble, hit that big green button. And that way you get all of our videos. We do them every single day. News, rumors, and even fun segments like this one. So if you haven't already, subscribe and follow us. This is a quote. We talked about it at one point earlier here around Dalton Schultz and why the Cowboys just can't pay him. Schultz is going to get paid. It will most likely come after the 2022 season and probably by no team in free agency. For the Cowboys, it's not about making Schultz happy. It's about managing the rising cost of Dak Prescott's contract, the coming deals for all-pro cornerback Trevon Diggs, Pro Bowl receiver CeeDee Lamb, and bracing for the future star payday of linebacker Micah Parsons. This, my friends, is Cowboys propaganda. It is not true. You cannot pay Micah Parsons for 2 years. The idea that we can't do this because, we got a deal coming down the road 2 years from now is a lie. They are lying to you, and they're hoping you believe it so that Stephen Jones doesn't have to spend money. The Cowboys' salary cap is fine. Now, you might look at the SPO track over the cap, etc., and go, hey, you know what? The Cowboys are $5 million over the cap next year. They can't spend money. It's not really true. That is what Stephen Jones and the media, salary cap, pie, blah, blah, blah. The team is projected $5 million over the cap next year. That is true. But it makes sense when you factor in they have the most players under contract next year, 68, by the way. That number will, of course, change. And, by the way, that figure does not include the rollover salary cap. So that 22-ish million right now in cap space, you don't spend it, it carries over. And now you're looking conservatively at $15, $17 million in cap space. Oh, by the way, there are moves you can make. You cut Zeke Elliott pre-June 1st, post-June 1st, 4.86 or 10.9 million in savings. 9.6 for Tyron Smith or 13.6. Cut Jordan Lewis, you save $5 million. If Dorrance Armstrong doesn't ball out, you can save $4 million. Guys like Devontae Bond, Kyron Brown, and Devontae Collins are all counting $1 million on that. That's an easy cut. That's not anything you have to do. So you can, with simple cuts of players who could very well not be back, you can save anywhere from $26.46 million to $38 million. You go on the higher end, guys, we're already approaching $50 million in salary cap space. Actually, we're past it. With restructures, simple restructures of potentially key cogs on this Cowboys team. You want to bring down that Dak Prescott contract? You should if he plays well, obviously. 22.4. Bring it down even more with an extension if he plays great this year. Tank Lawrence, 9.22. Zach Martin, 9.25. Gallup, almost 7.5. $48 million in simple restructures for those 4 players. Now, you might not want to restructure all those guys or cut all those guys, and that's fine. But you can create $100 million in salary cap space for next year if you're the Cowboys. The Saints did it this year too. So you can absolutely go that route. Now, you might go, well, what about the free agents, Tom? What about the players the Cowboys are going to lose in free agency? Tony Pollard, Dalton Schultz, Terrence Steele's an RFA, Anthony Brown, Donovan Wilson. That's not $100 million worth. So let me be clear for hopefully one last time. Anyone who tells you the Cowboys have salary cap space issues is either just flat out wrong and they don't know any better, which is okay. That's what I'm here for. We're trying to help learn and everything. Or they are lying to you and they don't care about the truth, but they would rather push something for their own agenda. I'm looking at you, Stephen Jones. The Cowboys salary cap, it's fine. Don't let anyone tell you they're in cap hell or in cap purgatory. Frankly, next year is going to be the best shape the cap has ever been in for the Cowboys in several years.